What's up, guys? It's Jack with JackedNLeen. Today, we're doing another episode of the Rebuilding Jack series where I'm walking you guys through what I'm doing to get myself back to being jacked and lean. Again, a little chest and back. We're gonna start with chest, move some back, and I'll walk you guys through what I'm doing as we go. So, just to kind of bring you guys up to speed, I've done a hard cut, which there's a video covering everything I did there. In the meantime, it's a lot of life stuff that's come up, business. My wife did a show, a lot of different things. And so kind of in like this like hold phase. Now composition, I'm pretty happy with where that's holding. Honestly, things like PDs, gear, low. Doing a few peptides to kind of help keep myself baseline, keep myself healthy. Low dose Retta, little SS31 to help with some mitochondrial membrane integrity, to help when I start my push, like with that throughput handling, all the mitochondrial output I'm gonna require. Lately, my training split, I'm training 5 days a week right now. We're doing chest, delts, and arms with some quads. And then I'm doing pull with some hands and glutes off, or a calves and abs day. And then I have pull and hams. And then I have chest and delts and quads. And then I have arms and glutes. So that last three split, it's been something I've been wanting to trial out for a long time. I'm having a ton of fun with it. I was reading like on Instagram, there's like a quote. I don't know why people have a hard time getting to the gym. It's like 2 hours with just music, alone time, and looking hot. And I was like, damn, I kind of like that. I kept it simple. Because frankly, guys, I got a lot of shit going on, and I've been loving my training lately. But I read that, and I was like, damn, you know what? That's all it is. Like, just go have some fucking fun. And I realized the busier I get with my family, with my businesses, right, the more I have to really zero in on my like me time, all right? And I've been not great at that. I've been getting better at what regulates me and knowing how to control myself so I have energy for my output. But like, this is like what actually continues to improve me, right? And it really does fill my cup. I got into all this because I fucking love training and love getting sick pumps. And so it's funny, like that single quote, guys, I'm training over a decade now. I hear that, and my training has been crazy since then. So I was just, for so long, man, I like overcomplicated shit or whatever. And all it comes back down to is some you time, some good music, and just fucking, I'm doing my curls like, man, my arms are gonna look crazy. My training's been fun. So if you're struggling to get in the gym, just keep it simple. To all of you who wear over your headphones, are any of you bald? Because this feels kind of goofy to me. I'm looking at Mike, and he has a hat on. And I kind of think I should go rock a hat to make this fit better. It's like my head's so bald, it just feels like it's just loose. I don't know, am I the only guy with that problem? I changed, I think I fit in now. It does feel better. It's like more secure. And it matches, right? It fucking matches, look at that. I'm gonna do my favorite chest press variation right now. So a lot of times you'll see guys like do this like super across the body, which is just not a lot of potential for loading. I don't love that angle. But with this machine being a little bit wider, I was fucking around it where I could slide a little bit off to the side with a slight pivot. I still get like a nice kind of load in a stretch position, but I'm also getting a little bit of this contraction in the inner chest, which I've never really sought after. I don't think it's like a massive driver of hypertrophy, but you can't deny that it feels pretty good. And on this one, when I get that seat all the way back, my hips into it, I'm actually leaning forward a little bit. So I'm kind of tracing up and in, which is a really nice like upper pec and upper and inner pec stimulus here. This is my favorite current chest press variation, so I'll do pec flies. 3 sets. I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna do a couple sets on this before I move on to some pronate grit dips. Ooh. Ooh. Keith just asked how many sets I'm doing on this one. I'm gonna do 2. To be honest, I was tossing around 3 in my head and I could go for a 3rd. I feel really connected with that right now, but I feel like I got what I needed to out of it. I'm really tempted to do a 3rd set. And now that he said that, I'm probably just gonna fucking do it. All right, this is the Keith pressure set. I got peer pressure to do this one. Let's get it. I'm glad I did that set. My absolute favorite variation on this machine for chest is this facing out belt supported version where you're pronated with your grip here. So I get into it, my hands are gonna be turned out just a little bit of internal rotation, kind of pressing through the pointer finger here with a nice lean, so I'm stacked. I can just ride right through like that low pec. Here we get a tiny bit of upper pec in this one. The danger of being a dad, listening to your liked songs or most played songs on Spotify, is I got some like Kids Bop shit going on right now. Okay? But sometimes it's actually kind of a bop. Have you ever, Keith, listened to the same song on repeat for an entire workout?
Yeah, I've done it before.
Yeah.
I do it on the drive home from work too all the time.
Yeah, dude. So we did a couple sets of rows. Like I mentioned before, I like starting with mid-row, kind of get my lats going before I do something a little more overhead. Now this movement with the angled pad here, it's gonna help create that line of pull I want, like I try to create on some of these other pull downs where you're leaning back just a little bit. Now, if you have too much of a lean, it just kind of becomes a bit more like a high row, which just is. And I'm okay with it. I'm not trying to go super overhead with this motion. Just something a little bit of a different angle for my lats than I did on the last move. So a couple other points of emphasis on the kind of hold phase I'm doing real quick. So I had a little surgery on my back to remove a pretty big cyst I had. So that took me out for a few weeks. And so to the point of being resilient and adaptable, I had started kind of a bit of a push. But then that came up and it just had to happen at that moment. And so I had to kind of pull everything back into a hold. And so I decided that I need to take a few weeks off of training, which I did take a small step back. I ate really well, slept well, but I didn't get to train for about 3 weeks. I couldn't load anything heavy. So I did feel like I lost a little bit of muscle, so we're in the process of building that back. Instead of just like jumping right back into a push, I'm creating that momentum. I'm really big on momentum when it comes to maximizing muscle growth. If you are ups and downs, you're not gonna grow no matter how much shit you take or how much food you eat. And that's why you see this yo-yo. So I wanna create momentum and have adequate runway. So when I build that momentum, now I have plenty of opportunity and time to grow. I'm already not a big proponent of getting fat while you grow. I like people staying leaner and tighter, more insulin sensitive, less inflamed. Doesn't mean you need to eat deficit calories or just maintenance calories, but I don't think you need to get fat either, because muscle growth itself is a slow process. And so this purpose of this hold, it's not so much a hold as it is like a slow kind of lean grow. Calories are like 35, 3,600 right now, maybe creeping a little bit closer to 4,000 on some days. I'm training pretty hard, get super subs kind of baseline, but I do feel like I'm creating productive momentum now. And then when I come back from the cruise, food will probably stay about the same. Might push up some of the other stuff, and that should be enough to grow, assuming I'm sleeping and I'm not stressed, guys. Like, you don't have to have like this crazy difference between kind of these hold and push and deficit phases. If you stay tight, composition-wise and in a good rhythm, it can be just small shifts either way to get you moving in the direction you want to go. Another food for thought for you busy dads, business owners, bodybuilders, people trying to progress with shit going on in their lives. Remember, nothing is permanent. Everything's fleeting, right? Money, time, feelings, all this shit. It's important not to get too wrapped up in anything you're experiencing or feeling in the moment. I used to let my situation consume me, feeling that it was more permanent than it actually was, and it would affect my state of existence for too long, negatively more often than not. And I always like to tell my people, don't get too high, don't get too low. Not that you can't experience happiness or sadness, but try to ride a more even line. And we start to realize that kind of nothing is permanent. Adopt a more stoic mindset in life. Be more flexible and adaptable to the things that come your way. Here's how to do bent over single arm rows the JackedNLeen way. A lot of people, when they do it, they'll kind of assume this like staggered stance, and they'll get just digging up through their shoulder, right? They're not getting their elbow back towards their hip. It's not necessarily wrong, right? People have grown a lot of back like that. But how to do these the JackedNLeen way is, I like to have people stand back, and this can be done with a dumbbell too. Stand back a little bit and reach forward with this hand And I want you to think about sitting into your heels and lifting your hips up high. So this arm now travels relatively forward, which is going to create more of this type of line of pull. So you're going to sit your hips back, and then as you row, shift into your toes with a little rock, dig up in towards the lat there. So by shifting my body weight, I'm creating a better line of pull versus staying here or going forward and staying there, but not getting the stretch. My lats are pretty cooked at this point. And so on these motions, guys, you don't need to be a hero with the load, especially if I'm adding things like a little rotation, a little twist, a little extra stretch. It's all gonna decrease my total loading capacity. You know what? I don't give a fuck, because I'm putting the muscle in unique positions. I'm trying to train, and whatever I can do in that position is what I'm gonna do. I wanna progress that over time, but it doesn't have to be my most load I can possibly do, because if I'm doing it straight on, or I have my knee on a bench, it's all gonna change how much load I can do. You have to detach yourself from how much fucking load is on the bar. If I did these first, I could also do more weight. You know what? It's like my 6th exercise at this point. I just care about getting a sick pump and progressing that over time. One more set here. When you start to think about movements in bodybuilding as being less just boom or, boom, you start looking at these different lines of pull, things that are a little more like circular and rotary and crossing and stretching. For example, growing like the upper outer glutes, just strengthening the hip in general, the lats, even like what I did with my chest. Exploring these new angles. I don't think you need to get like crazy. I'm not trying to say it to be some science-based hardo where you can't do it if it's not perfectly aligned, but explore movements. And I think it creates more flowy physiques, more well-integrated physiques. If you only ever do this and do this, and everything is bilateral, right? You're never doing things one arm, you're never having a slight twist, you're never working in different planes, right? I don't think your physique can possibly flow. You might build a lot of muscle like that, but I think it looks very like pieced together. All I want this Rebuilding Jacked series to be is just a real look at like what a real dude who coaches real people and has real shit going on is doing. I'm not perfect. I'm not a fucking IIPP pro. I'm not gonna be the biggest dude in the world. But every one of these videos I make gets me excited because it's like, man, I hope there's like a Jack out there from a few years ago watching this. Be like, you know what? Shit, like I just had a kid or I just started a business and it feels tough right now. And I'm basically saying to that guy right now that like I said earlier, don't get too high, don't get too low. Just keep pressing on, man, right? Like consistency into chaos. And I could sit here all day long. I could even like bullshit about what I was doing. I could say, oh, I've been doing this and not doing that, and to sound perfect, but I wouldn't benefit anybody. And everything I do is trying to be in the benefit of others, right? So hope you guys take away something from these videos because A, I really like making them, and B, I really care about helping people that feel like they want something, but like it just doesn't seem to be clicking for them. And it will eventually, if you just don't give the fuck up. The only way you lose is by giving up. Oh, man. Fuck. Ooh, what's up, bro? You wanna go your upper back, 2 moves. Something training in this shoulder extension, transverse plane. Something low to high with a little bit of like scapular retraction and elevation. So extension with retraction and some sort of elevation with retraction. Guarantee to grow your upper back. That's what like the Body Masters one did earlier, or something like a Magnum row, even a little divergence to it. And then always hit something like this hammer low row. Strive prime makes a good low row. You do kind of like a standing Karosky row, something here. I'm happy with that, man. Honestly, guys, it's been a minute since I've been like kind of happy with my physique. Lots of ups and downs over the years, right? But if you just kind of keep on it and get back, like my food at this point, I don't crave going out to eat. I don't crave eating shit food because I realize that food goes way deeper than just body fat percentage. It drives my mental clarity, it drives my emotional regularity. When my digestion feels good, I feel good, I'm productive at work, which then makes me happy. I've got energy from, like it all rolls together. And once you reach that level of like enlightenment, I'll say, those cravings go away, your rhythm gets much more tight, and then shit just kind of rolls. And when you like kind of eat the same thing every day, that's not too many calories, not too few calories, you sleep well, you train pretty hard, you feel pretty good. And then you go look in the mirror and be proud of yourself. And honestly, I'm pretty proud. And I'm not really even like pushing super hard. I'm excited to see what I do, what happens when I do. But the older I get, the easier it is for me just to hold, I guess, a decent look, even when I'm not 100% on, because the other shit, like my food, doesn't get that far off. So, yeah, man, I'm pretty fucking happy with this. That's a wrap. I'm still half naked, but if you guys want to follow any more content, I'm usually more clothed than this. Subscribe to Jacked and Lean for more videos on how to get jacked and lean.